The visualization ability of Map Suite Android Edition can be customized to show information exactly the way you want. It's possible to filter regions by attribute, display graphs of important data, create a custom style with your own icons, show frequency of events, map intensity, and more. You can select the visualization style by tapping the menu icon in the upper left corner. The settings dialog can be accessed by tapping the gear icon on the menu in the upper right corner when the layer style permits it. In the settings dialog, it's possible to change the value that sets the criteria. We'll see that in filter style when we get there. First, let's look at cluster style. Instead of displaying every point, cluster style merges multiple data points into a cluster. In this example, the number of earthquakes is shown. For regions with many earthquakes, one larger cluster is displayed. Now let's check out a custom style. Map Suite Android Edition is extremely versatile. So we open up the API to allow you to create a custom style that meets your specific needs. So we created this custom style as an example, and it displays weather, and it was built just to show you that anything is possible. Now let's check out filter style. This is the one I mentioned uses a setting. And filter style will only show a feature that meets a certain criteria. So in this example, we have the name of the US state, and if you use the settings menu, you can change the name of the state, and that state will be displayed in the style. So let's try a different state. And now you can see that that state is displayed. The next style is the class break style. It's somewhat similar to filter style, but instead of just showing or not showing a feature, the class break style displays features differently depending on what range the value falls into. And so in this example, we're using the population of US states, and blue represents a lowly populated state, red a highly populated state. Next, let's look at dot density style. This is a visual representation of density using dots, and the dots don't actually physically represent the population, but they are spread out across the feature randomly. Now let's look at isoline style. This delineates regions of similar values. And so in this example, we show regions that have experienced a similar magnitude of earthquake in the same color, and the regions are separated with isolines. Heat map is next. This creates a radius around points with the color corresponding to the value. In this example, we show earthquakes with a colored radius corresponding to the magnitude of the earthquake. Finally, let's look at icon style. And icon style is used to display icons on the map, such as vehicles. Okay, let's take a look at the code. Let's start with splash activity. You can see here that main launcher is equal to true, which means that it will run when the program is opened. And so when you first open the program, there's a splash screen that's displayed with a progress bar. And here's where the progress bar can be found in the code. Now, after the sample is loaded, or it's checked to see that the sample data has been loaded, then main activity is called. And you can see that right here. And main activity is right here. We can look at that as well. Main activity includes slider view, and slider view is here under this shares folder, and slider view handles the sliding menu that slides in from the left side. And then list view, which if we look at the definition of that, is a Xamarin class. List view handles the style list that's displayed in the menu. So There's a XML file here in assets that is the sample list of the visualization samples, and that's then used to create the list in the sliding menu. Here at the bottom we have a sample list view item click function, and what that does is sets the current sample to the style that was tapped from the sliding menu. Okay, now if we take a look at all of the different samples, we can see that there's either a folder or a C# file for each sample. But in this advanced folder, we have a base sample, and that is used as the base class of all the samples. So if we go into one of these class samples, we can see that it inherits the base sample. And in the base sample, we have title, which sets of course, the title or the header at the top of the screen. Then we also use map view. If we check a definition of that, we can see that this is the ThinkGeo map suite map controller. So let's take a look at one of these styles. And each one of these styles has this initialize map function. Of course, they're all a little bit different depending on what the style is going to display. But that basically sets up your map for display. All right, thank you very much for watching the Map Suite Android Visualization Learning Sample.